Hey, Frontline fans, welcome back to Comic Frontline fans. You're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer. Get ready to do that all-important comic book review so you, the fans, can make a decision on what comics to buy. And today, guys, we're talking about Spider-Man 2099, issue number 10. That's right, guys. The title is a long one. It's like all new story, something sinister this way comes, starts now. That's just a lot to say in a title, isn't it? It's a lot. But nevertheless, this book is written by Peter David, and the artwork is done by Will Sleaney. The artwork is always been consistent when it comes to Will Sleaney's artwork. We get Spider-Man 2099 suit is pretty badass. I like the white suit. You can actually see his mouth through his mask, which I think is pretty neat. I like the glossiness off of his glasses. It's very detailed in that way. I love Raul's facial expressions. He's one of the best characters going in this book. There's always a moment with him and Miguel O'Hara in the book that just makes it very comical, and it makes you really enjoy that character. And in this book, we get to see different types of characters that we haven't seen before. And it's always interesting to see Sleaney's artwork on these versions of characters that we've never seen. So overall, it's pretty good, pretty standard paneling in this book. So I thought it was pretty good. So let's recap the story, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. So in this book, it opens up with like Miguel in Acclimax in 2099, and it's kind of like, what the hell? You're looking at it, and you're kind of like, how did this book end up here? Last we saw Miguel talking with Tempest's mom, and now we're opening up in 2099. So right away, as the reader, you got to sit here and say, okay, something happened, we're going to backtrack. And that's exactly what the book did. We go back to Miguel O'Hara talking to Tempest's mom and how Tempest needs to be with Miguel, can't be with the mother. Bad things could happen because she could be inhuman or mutant or whatever the case. Miguel is still dealing with a lot of rage issues. He's very testy. He's got very short on patience. We get to see him interact with Raul. He's very hard on him. Actually, almost threatened his job. And after some makeup time and Miguel coming to his senses, they didn't quite share a hug, but they were all on good terms. And that was actually a comical moment in the book. And Miguel is at Tempest's side, and we find out that Dr. Kronos' body has been being moved to some kind of secret facility. And so what happens is Miguel goes on patrol, and he winds up going to that secret facility. He goes into stealth mode. He follows the scientists, and the next thing you wind up seeing is the villains that I really don't like in this series are kind of all together. And one was that guy by the name of Venture, and one was the other new Inhuman called Gloria, I think that was her name. And somehow she can transport people into the future, I guess. So what happens is we wind up seeing that new leader, I think her name is like Asia or something like that, winds up transporting Miguel into 2099 after a battle with Venture. So that's how he winds up going into the future of 2099. When Miguel winds up in 2099 and finds out that this Acclimax is completely different from what he's seen, he winds up coming across some crazy-ass Venom-like character. And you wind up seeing what this character looks like. And he's got, like, bones around him and as his, like, spider symbol. And he's got a long tongue that goes all the way to his feet. And you're just like, oh, shit. And then you wind up seeing Miguel come across this Dr. Octopus version of 2099. I guess that's what it is. So, yeah, I mean, that's the story in a nutshell. There's a lot to be read here when it comes to Miguel dealing with Tempest's mom, the whole situation when it comes to Raul, Miguel dealing with what he's going through in 2099. You got to read all that stuff to really appreciate the issue. What I'm thinking about in this particular book was how is Miguel going to get out of 2099? Who are these characters that he's facing? And really, what is the direction of this book? I'm still not really clear on where we're going with this. It's kind of like oh, we got Tempest, and now she's in a coma, and I've been kind of been by her bedside, and now all of a sudden I'm at 2099, and it's just like it kind of skips around. And the one thing that really lacks in this book for me is the villains. The villains are not strong. It's like I want them to be strong, but there doesn't feel like there's this real arch nemesis that drives Miguel over the edge. It's just they're just there, and even though you got to see an origin tale of how Gloria got to be an Inhuman and Venture, how he came from 2099, it doesn't really make you care for these characters, and all of a sudden they wind up being together and they're created this time travel device. It just seems like it just jumps around for me. So in the end, it was a good issue, and yeah, I felt like they kind of threw like a version of Venom in there just to throw him in there to be like, hey, that's cool. But besides that, I don't know, it just didn't really capture me this time. It was okay. I'm gonna give it a 3.25 out of 5 stars because it has me intrigued on what he's doing in 2099 and what's he going to get out. But again, what's the main purpose of this story besides just Tempest waking up? So there's a lot of things that just don't quite capture me yet. But I hold on to it because I have hope for this series. So again, guys, leave me those comments below. Tell me what you thought of Spider-Man 2099. And fans, as always, thank you for watching Comic Frontline. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and also watch our live show each and every Tuesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and where we talk about our top 5 comics of the week and talk about the top comic news of the week as well. So again, fans, this is Mike Spider Slayer, and thank you for watching Comic Frontline. Take care, fans. Bye.